Basically, cool. So yeah, this is week 3, but I like to share just a little bit of insight as to, so I've been doing this for 7 years, and when I first started, and I was like you guys, I was just like a Beachbody fan, right? I was a fan of Beachbody because it had impacted my life so much, and I think like Lori's story kind of relates to that. Like she's had this emotional breakthrough because of Beachbody. And for people like me and Lori, it's a huge thing. Not everybody's. I've had to learn that not everybody's story is that emotionally involved. Mine was, right. I had overcome obesity, but I didn't. I just knew that I loved Beachbody, and I knew that people needed to feel it because I was finally breaking through in my life. But I didn't really have a plan, right. My plan was just to talk to whoever, and if people asked me about it, I was passionate about it, and I would help them. But over the course of time, I've had to learn a lot. This is where personal development comes in. I had to learn things like time management, right? And I started having to get myself on a schedule of how I was going to do things, right? So Tuesday nights are going to be my team call. I think where people run into trouble is when it's like Beachbody becomes all the time, and it starts taking over other areas of their life that are also important. Family time, at your job, all of those things. And I think that's why, if you look at that power of 3 that we gave you, right, that what we're giving you is something that you can fit into an hour a day, right? That Beachbody should be part of what you do. It's part of who you are, okay? And your success is going to be determined by you. The great thing about Beachbody is this: everybody starts at 0, right? Everybody starts at 0. We all start with 0 coaches. We all start with 0 Success Club points. So literally every single person that starts as a Beachbody coach starts in the exact same position. I did not start with a team of 3,000 or 4,000 coaches. That was built over time, right? I've just stayed in the game long enough that it's happened, and you guys are all part of that. But here's what I would tell you is this, so you don't run into trouble later and feel like you're doing so much work and getting little result, figure out what works for you as far as like a schedule goes, right? I think that might have even been one of the topics this week was time management, so like for me, and I'm going to describe what I do with new customers, right, in this challenge group process that we're sharing with you. Right now, you guys should just be trying to help some people get started on their journey, right? That really is the goal. That's the primary mission. Our primary mission is from the fitness side, okay? And then learning how to take customers and help them have a great experience to the point where they want to become an advocate. Everybody understand that? So they, we start them with the program, and then we upgrade them to coaches once they become enthusiastic, and those people make. Oh, okay. Are you guys getting some feedback or something? Let me mute participants. So, okay. Okay, that should take care of it. All right, and I'll allow you guys to unmute yourselves. But on the time management side, I want you guys to understand this, that Beachbody should not be something that is like a 24/7 all-consuming thing. It's kind of like your part-time deal, right? But with that, you also have to understand that if you were going to take a part-time job, let's say serving at a local restaurant or something like that, you would expect to put part-time hours into it, right? So with that power of 3 thing that we've given you, we're really giving you a way to say, hey, listen, in 1 hour a day, if you were to do this 1 hour a day, these would be the activities that are going to produce the result that you want, right? And so I just think it's important to talk about that. So like for me, it was, I don't know if you guys were on the monthly swarm call that we did last night. How many of you, were you guys on that? The swarm call? Okay. I was doing a weekly call every week. I did that for 5 years. Every Monday night I was on a call, teaching, speaking, doing all that stuff. And then what I came to realize is that, there was way too much of me involved. That needed to be more other people taking leadership roles and running their own teams. And you guys need to think that way. Like, when you signed up, you're building your own team of people. You get guidance from the coaches that came in before you, but you have to pick the way that you're going to do it, and then just go do the best you can with it and start building, your team of people. Well, so every Monday night after 5 years kind of got overwhelming. So now we've cut it back to, I do that the first Monday of every month. So it's just a once a month thing, right? But that was me saying, okay, this is taking up way too many nights during the week for me. How can I tailor this to fit my family, right? And so it's, we just know in our household that Tuesday nights are going to be team call nights where I do trainings every Tuesday night. I do a basics group at 8 and I do my ramp group at 9. Does that make sense, right? Thursdays are my check-in day. That's the day that I check in with all my current challengers. That's the day that I reach out to my customer list, and so that way I'm not having to do that like every single day. I just pick one day a week where that's my focus of activity. I'm gonna really follow up with people greatly on Thursdays, right? And for me, that works. For you, it might be this power of 3 thing where you're just doing it consistently every day, and you pick a power hour, whatever that is. I've had women. I had one woman that went through my groups and she had 6 kids, and she's like, man, with 6 kids, it's hard to find a complete hour. And so I just try to find 20 minutes 3 times a day, right? So I guess the point is this, like, you've got to figure out what fits your life and make Beachbody part of how that fits you, right? You don't have to do it exactly like Tommy does it. You don't have to do it exactly like the coach that sponsored you does it, right? But you got to determine at what level you want to do this and what amount of effort and work you want to put in and what your vision is for this. For me, starting out, my vision when I was you guys was, man, if I could help some of my buddies and make a few $100 a month and pay for my fitness habit, that would be pretty cool. I wasn't planning on doing what I've done now and getting to the point that we're at. So with that said, I did want to cover a couple of things tonight with you guys that I think are important, right? Because, it's one thing to teach you guys how to promote a challenge group and what to say and how to 5-step people. And we could tell you how to get people. But I want you to remember this, and you probably should write this down, that it's what you do with people after you get them that truly matters. It's what you do with people and the direction they go, right? So we're not in, these companies that sell workout videos on the shelves at Target, they have no type of follow-up system with those people. I mean, they don't care. They're just trying to move a workout video. You see what I'm saying? And that's not us. I mean, that's what differentiates us as a network of people, is that we actually do something with you and are your friend along the way and are a source of guidance and a source of support and accountability for you after you choose to get enrolled. And so what I want to do tonight is just to describe to you my plan, what I do with people. I try to keep it as simple as possible. Again, I've learned this. If it takes me 70 hours a week to do this business, I can never teach you to do what I do. So I've tried to make it as simple for myself. Now, I'm full-time, and honestly, I probably spend 15 hours a week, but I'm also running these training groups. I mean, I'm also doing calls and I'm talking to corporate. So, but literally, I do it full-time in 15 hours a week, right? And so, so I've kind of said, okay, Tommy, get a grip on this thing, and how can you do this in a shorter amount of time? And so the things that I'm sharing with you tonight, what I do with my new customers, this is important. So we have to first understand our system, right? Our system is this. We get people started with the fitness programs, okay? But when they first enroll, what we have to understand is they're a coach in training, right? Your best coach prospects will be the customers that you bring in who end up getting great results and feeling a physical and emotional and social difference in their life, right? So we get them started on the program, and over time, as they become enthusiastic, we begin to look for moments of enthusiasm where we can then upgrade them to a coach, and there's someone who will willingly go out there and share what we have to offer, just like many of you, right? 80% of our network are people who started as customers first and upgraded to coach, okay? And so in the long run, when we enroll somebody, I mean, it's easy to say just to count points. It's easy to go, I need to get the 5 points, and so I want those 2 points, right? But understand, when someone says yes, they're putting their trust in you. They're putting their trust in you, okay? And so what you do with that person at the point of enrollment and after enrollment, it's what I call leadership after enrollment. So it's important that we have a plan on what we're going to do with those people. So when the person enrolls, and I'm just gonna give you, this is what I do with people. So if I have a new challenger that enrolls on a challenge pack, right? Or on a here's the thing, I don't care if they get a challenge pack. That's the truth. If they want to start with just a program, I'm perfectly fine with that, because I know if they start pushing play, I don't even care if they went and got a burnt set of videos, right? I honestly don't, because I'm not looking at the $30 I'd make on the videos or the $60. I understand that if I work with them and help them get results and hold them accountable to their program, that eventually they may make me way more money than the initial $30 retail commission that I might make. So my thinking when I work with somebody is this: I'm not as concerned with their initial choice. Yes, I want them to get a challenge pack because I truly believe that's the best way for them to succeed. And here's why. Here's why it's best for them to get a challenge pack. You know, and this is how I look at it. One, they've got skin in the game. They've made an investment, right? So they've put more skin in the game. They're more likely to be committed to the program because they put more skin in the game up front to get that pack, right? And so I know for some people, coming up with $180 to get an Insanity Max challenge pack it's a lot of money. For many, many people, that's a lot of money to come up with, right? And so I know that if they're willing to do that, then they're going to be more likely to stay course, and they're going to be more likely to listen to my direction and guidance because they've made an investment. We have to understand they're making an investment, right? And so that's the first reason. The second reason is they now have all three pillars. They have fitness, nutrition, and support, right? And the key is this, though. If you don't believe wholeheartedly in Shakeology, right? If you yourself are not completely sold on the value of Shakeology, you're gonna have a hard time getting people to get a pack. When they first came out with Shakeology, I had already lost all my weight. I was down 115 pounds. I did it without Shakeology. I did it just with P90X, right? And I wasn't a believer. It took me about 5 months of Shakeology being out before I actually bought it, and I was already a coach, right? But I was like, what the hell do I need to spend $100 a month on these shakes for? I didn't use them. I wasn't a believer until a lot of my friends that were already around the network started coming back and telling me things like their cholesterol got cut in half, right? I started coaching people through the program because at the time I was getting a lot of men who were 100 pounds overweight because I had lost 100 pounds. So that was what I was attracting, right? And in my first round of P90X, I lost 47 pounds. And that was like crushing it at the time, right? Like to lose 47 pounds in 90 days, that was crushing it. In fact, I became my personal weight loss story sold more millions of dollars of P90X than any story in the company, right? And 47 pounds was a lot. Well, I started coaching guys that had 100, 120 pounds to lose, and they were losing 60 or 65 in that first round. And so I started thinking, I'm like, because I know they couldn't have been more nutritionally disciplined than me. The only differentiating factor was that they were using Shakeology, doing the same things I was doing. And so I started realizing, man, this stuff really is powerful. And so I started drinking it. And then I started feeling better, right? Like I honestly had more energy in those things. And then I got my mom on it. And I went to my mom. I said, Mom, I need you to do this, because my mom was 58 at the time, right? 60 years old, something like that. And she was about 40 pounds overweight. And she's only 5'1". So 40 pounds on 5'1" is a lot of weight, right? And she was also on cholesterol meds for 20 years. She was on Lipitor from age 40 up to age 60. And even on cholesterol meds, even on Lipitor, my mom's cholesterol was still like 270. So it was still high, right? And her doctor was like, you're always going to have to be on these meds. Like and she was trying, like she was eating oatmeal in the morning, hoping that would help. She was eating relatively healthy for the most part. I said, Mom, I don't care if you pay for it or I pay for it. I want you to do the Shakeology for 3 months and see if this helps with your cholesterol and your weight. She did that. She started doing Power 90 like 3 or 4 times a week, just doing some exercise, right? And walking a little bit. She lives in California. And after 3 months, she had lost 35 pounds and her cholesterol was down to 140 and her doctor took her off her meds. And at that moment, that was what solidified me being a believer in the value of Shakeology, right? So here, you know, when it's happening to my mom, it's happening to the people I'm coaching, and it's happening to my friends, then I truly believe that people benefit. I mean, in fact, my wife during her pregnancy used Shakeology as her prenatal vitamin. She didn't even take a prenatal. That's how much our family believes in it. And so I say that, one, because you're going to have to come up with your own reasons that you believe in that, because no matter what, it's 70, as far as the business goes, it's 70% of what we do as far as what we distribute, right? It's 70% of our distribution. When we distribute just a workout video, people buy that one time. They're not buying a set of workouts every single day, right? So, but with Shakeology, protein bars, recovery drink, E&E, okay, the consumable things, that's really where the volume, you know, from your team and stuff is going to come from. And so, you know, so that's, you know, so there's personal reasons why I recommend the challenge pack, because people who buy a challenge pack tend to get through the programs because they put more money down. They've got a bigger investment in it. 2, they're actually getting better results because they're drinking Shakeology along with the program, right? And so I make Shakeology a big part of when I start them out, you know, and I have a talk with them about how to do Shakeology, okay? So understand something. There's places they can go wrong with Shakeology, and there's places where they can go right. So the first conversation I have with them is this. I give them their, like, here's my 5 best tips to getting started. So I would come up with your 5 best tips to get started. So when you enroll them, you give them a list of 5 things. Here's my tips on getting started the right way, okay? You know, number 1, make sure you have a workout area in mind, a place and a time when you're going to work out. I try to get them to think about when they're going to work out, where they're going to work out, okay? Number 2, when you get the package, I want you to review the books and any DVDs that are like intro DVDs that are in there. And I want you to follow the program to a T, okay? So I don't want to explain the whole program to them. I want to point them to the books and because I know this, when I started P90X, I had a buddy that started it. He never read the books. He didn't invest his time, right? We don't need them just to invest their money. We also need them to invest their time to learn about what it is they're getting into. So I have them read the books, whatever booklets come with it. And most of our programs come with a book and a nutritional book and all of that stuff. But that gets them started to learn about nutrition. All of those books, if you've never read through the nutritional books that come with the program, I recommend that you do that, because for me, that was the beginning of me learning about good nutrition. That's the first thing. The second thing is when they're reading that book, it also talks about Shakeology. And so their belief starts growing in Shakeology. And I want that to happen. Number 3, you know, I tell them, make sure that you take your beginning pictures. That's part of the program. I don't care if you show them to the world. Listen, when I took my first pictures standing there in my underwear at 270 pounds, right, I didn't expect anybody would ever see those. When I went through the program and I took those pictures every 30 days when I saw some results, my belief started gaining, right? And at day 60, I remember at day 120, I took my day 120 picture in my second round, and I sat there with tears in my eyes because I could pull up my day 1 picture and I could pull up my day 120 picture, and I could visibly see that I was a different man, that I was no longer that guy, right? And so I encourage them to do that. And then number 4, okay, number 4, I say, immediately start drinking your Shakeology once a day for whatever meal. I try to determine what meal specifically they're going to drink it for in our conversations, right? So I say, drinking your Shakeology once a day for breakfast, right? But then, and here's the key, because if we just say, yeah, drink your Shakeology, listen, they don't know how to make it. They might make it one way with just water and stir it with a spoon, and they drink it and they go, oh my God, this stuff is terrible, right? So we have to give guidance and buy time when it comes to Shakeology, okay? So what I do is I tell them, listen, I make a different recipe every day for the first week. There's going to be a calendar that comes with different recipes. I want you to review those, pick out some of your favorites that you think you might like, and make it like the recipes say. Here's how I personally like it. Okay? And I'll tell them, listen, here's how I personally like the chocolate. If they're getting chocolate, I personally like the chocolate using, 10 ounces of skim milk or almond milk and a banana. And about 6 or 7 ice cubes. And then I blend it. It's better blended than it is shaken. It's, some people like more liquid, some people like less liquid. I tell them, you might have to play with it to figure out how you like it. That way, if they drink it the first day or two, because what will happen to some people and some of the customers is they'll make this investment and they'll try it for a day or two. And because they didn't like it the way they tried it, they think it sucks and they'll quit taking it. So I just tell them what's important is that you find a way that you like it and understand that it's like a prescription medicine. You can't take it just some of the time. If you do, it won't work. If you only drink it 3 days a week, it's not going to work. It's a once a day prescription that's part of your deal. Okay, we've got to get them to understand. When I'm starting this person, in my head, and number 5 is this. My number 5 thing to getting started is this. Make a commitment that no matter what, you're going to complete your first full round. Okay, make that choice today that you're getting this program and that you're going to give the 21 days or the 60 days or however long that program is, that you're going to give it your best effort for 21 days or for 60 days, however long it is, okay? So those are the 5 things that I tell them up front. I tell them that when they order it, like they get on, they order it, they notify me they ordered it, I verify it, and I send them that list of 5 things, right? And then I send it to them again, the same 5 things when they receive it. Because I tell them, let me know as soon as it comes in. Okay? And then I help them set their start date, So if it comes in on Thursday, I say, hey, when do you want to start? Do you want to start this tomorrow or do you want to wait till Monday? Let me set your start date with you, okay? So this is before they even get the package, right? I want to set them up for success. I want to give them these pointers that I believe make a big difference in whether or not they succeed with this, all right? And then when they get it, one, I want to make sure, especially that first week, I'm typically, that first week I check in with them like every day. I want to be their best friend that first week. Because if they can get through that first week and get some momentum, I know in 7 days, even if they haven't lost 8 pounds, they're still going to feel better, right? Because they're moving, they're going to be a little sore. I need to be a really good friend to them, especially in that first week. After the first week, I do a once a week check-in with them. That's why I have Thursdays. Thursday is my check-in day, and I have my list of people that I'm going to check in with. And I just shoot them a text message. Hey, man, how's your week going? Right? But I know that first month is crucial. That first round is crucial, right? The first 21 days, if they're on the fix, the first month. I do those weekly check-ins. And my job is to just keep them on track, okay? Typically, when I check in with people, I found that they're in one of 3 places in the program, right? The first place is they're completely derailed, right? They're still eating Wendy's every day. They've only pushed play twice this week. They're not drinking their shakes, okay? And I've got to recommit them to starting over again. So you're going to find people like that. They get the stuff. They're not really doing it. Somehow they fall off track. Our job is to get them back on track. Then the second type of person, number 2, is someone who's doing it, but they're not super excited about the results yet. They're frustrated. They're doing it. They feel like it should be going faster. I just want to encourage them to keep going and help them tweak what they're doing, right? Maybe they're still eating something at 9 o'clock at night, and I can pinpoint that as a trouble spot. Okay, but I want to help them troubleshoot why they're not getting the results. Or maybe they are getting results. They just think they should be getting more results, and really they're doing great. They're losing 1.5 pounds a week. And because they've been watching Biggest Loser, they think they should be losing 10 pounds a week, right? Or they think after 3 weeks they should be down 5 dress sizes. And it doesn't happen that way, right? We're not looking for a quick fix. We're looking to get them into new daily habits. And so if they are getting results, I just tell them, listen, it's great. We have to monitor your expectations, okay? Think about this. If you lost, if you were losing 1.5 pounds every week, after 10 weeks, you're going to be down 15 pounds. And that's exactly where you said you wanted to be. You just need to keep going with this thing, okay? That's the second type of person. The third type of person is what I call an enthusiast. Okay, people will give you what I call these green lights. They're excited about it. They can't stop talking about it. They're even reaching out to you. Oh my God, I just got on the scale. I'm down another 3 pounds, or oh my gosh, I can't believe, they'll start sending you messages where they're beginning to get enthusiastic about what's happening to them, right? How many of you have hit that point with Beachbody programs where you went from that new person just starting to all of a sudden now you're more enthusiastic about it because you actually see and feel the difference, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is great, right? It's at the moment of enthusiasm, which typically happens somewhere between the 3rd week and the 8th week. So somewhere around that 30-day mark, right? When they start showing signs of enthusiasm, or they're coming up to the end of their first round, that's when I put coaching in front of them. Right? That's when I say, oh my God, you're doing so great. I do something what I call praise, disarm, and ask. This is how I put coaching in front of people. And when you get into ramp, for those of you that finish off December and you end up being Emerald and in Success Club in December, you can then qualify for our ramp group. And this is what we really dig into, is the team building side and how to get good people. And I'm kind of giving you a teaser of that right now, but I praise, disarm, and ask them. And I just say, look, you're doing really awesome. I'm glad that you're excited. And listen, that's praise. Disarm, I don't know if this is for you or not. And you might want to write that key phrase down. Hey, I don't know if this is for you or not. Anytime you approach somebody, I suggest that you use disarming techniques, right? I don't know if this is for you or not. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Because that eases the conversation, and now they're going to be open because they realize they have a choice in the matter. They're not being forced, right? But I at least have to ask, have you ever thought about being a coach? I think you'd be great. Okay? So that's how I get coaching in front of people. But that's what I do. It's easy with these group pages. And listen, I've always been a big proponent of having an accountability page, right? And if I'm you guys, I'm either going to partner up with the coach that brought me in, or maybe they already have a group page established and they can make it easy on you. You just bring your people in there. If you're going to do that, what I suggest is this: don't feed them and forget them. They still want the personal contact with you. Okay, don't just feed them into that page and forget about them and think they're fine, because they're not. Okay. Or maybe you want to start building your own Facebook page, right? And you just have, John's fitness and weight loss page, whatever that is. And every time, and then you just start putting your people in that page month after month after month, and start building a page of people. Okay. The coaches who have had the most success do that. They do that. They build a page of people, just like we did with the Swarm Cave, right? Or just like we did with the Rock the Basics page. Like, we gathered a group of people, we put you in a page, and that's our home. We want to do the same thing with our fitness people. Okay, but what I will tell you, in my experience, is this: the page alone is not enough. Not everybody gets on Facebook every day. Not everybody is super outspoken online. They might want to connect one-on-one versus in a big group of people, right? And so that's why I suggest that you do, that first week that you're like their best friend for that first week or two. And then you start going to a weekly check-in with them, right? And just doing a weekly check-in, and you're looking for the 3 signs of where they're at, and then just treat them accordingly. All right. But that's what I do with new customers. When I enroll them, I think my job is to help them get the best results and hold them accountable to that. And to deepen their commitment to the choice they just made, right? And to give them some pointers that will help them not hit a brick wall with it. Okay? And I understand that every time I enroll a customer, they are my coach in training, and my job is to train them on how to do the first vital behavior of being a product of the product. And to do what coaches do. What do coaches do? We push play every day. We drink a shake every day. We eat healthy most of the time, right? Unless we have a relapse, or unless, we decide that, okay, today's a cheat day, whatever. But I want to help that person establish those daily habits of pushing play, getting their sweat on, of drinking their shake, of living the fitness side and health side of what we do as coaches. Because if I can get them to be a great product of the product, then they can be a great coach, because they can learn to do that. All right. So that's the first topic for tonight. The second topic. So I got 2 different topics here. So hopefully that helps you a little bit, because as you go find people, there's a lot of new coaches. They go find people, but they don't know what to do with them afterwards. And I just wanted to help you guys, at least give you some kind of structured game plan, tell you what I do with them, so that you have a plan in your mind. The second thing is this. I think it's important for you guys to understand Facebook. When I started on Facebook, I had no idea. I didn't know social media, right? I had 0 social media skills. I didn't understand Facebook. And so I treated it like the majority of people who are on Facebook, who just use it as a way to keep in touch with people. And so I think it's important that you understand a few things about Facebook. All right. So that you can have better success with it. Okay. And the first thing that I need you to understand is this. Here's how I see Facebook. Facebook, that is our storefront. For most of the people, right? Most of the people in our network find people through Facebook. Like even me, I'm a face-to-face guy, and I might make friends with you face-to-face, but I'm going to put you on my Facebook. I'm going to add you as a friend on my Facebook. Every time I meet somebody, I get really good at, when you meet them, say, oh my God, I'd love to stay connected. Are you on Facebook? And then get them added as a friend on Facebook. And that's how I built 15,000 people on Facebook, right? Most of you probably just have a few hundred friends, maybe. Okay. You need to understand this, that just on your personal page, I prefer a personal page versus like a professional like page. And here's why. The rules for the personal page don't change very often, right? But the like page, they're constantly changing those things. And so you can go from having people see your stuff to having no people see your stuff, because they changed the rules on their like page, and now they want you to pay money to get your stuff seen. Does that make sense? Where I've always just used my personal page. I never got caught up in the like page thing. Some coaches use a like page. I don't. Now that you can have followers. So on Facebook, I want you to write this down. You can have up to 5,000 personal friends on your Facebook page. And you can also have unlimited followers. Okay. So you guys right now, if you only have a few hundred friends, or even if you have 1,000 friends, very seldom do I have a new person come in and they have more than like 1,000 friends on their Facebook, which means they got a ton of room for more people. Okay. So that's the first thing. We got to understand there's room for people to be added on your Facebook. And that's why adding friends, like 3 friends a day on your Facebook, is important. Here's some tips on how you do that. The first way I do that is one-on-one, right? So when I meet people face-to-face, whether it's at the store, at a football game, or whatever, when I make a friendship with somebody face-to-face, I never leave that conversation without asking if they're on Facebook and whether or not I can add them as a friend. Okay, so I'm constantly filtering people from my everyday life to be on my Facebook. Okay. The second thing is there's this thing called a friend adder, right? It suggests friends to you. So I'm always looking for people who fit the mold of people that I might want to help with Beachbody. And this is where you guys have to understand that it's important for you to figure out who your target market is. Are you trying to add other moms? For me, it's fat people and local people, right? Fat people and local people. So if I see people, if I had a connection with somebody from my hometown, or maybe they live locally here to me in Fort Lauderdale, I want to get them on my Facebook. So I'll just click add friend. It's that easy. Okay, it's that easy. My intention is not to sell Beachbody to them on the first conversation. So write this down. Never sell on the first conversation. The only thing you're selling on the first conversation is a friendship with you and trust. That's it. You're just trying to establish a relationship with them. All right? But the friend adder, the other thing I'll do, and this is great, and Lori, you might want to note this, is, you know, let's say I've got a friend from high school that's on my Facebook page. I'll click on his friend list and scroll through it to see who he knows that I know that isn't already a Facebook friend of mine. So I'll go check his friend list and I'll scroll through, because listen, if we went to high school together, chances are there's some people on his list of friends that maybe I haven't found yet on Facebook. So I got to actively look to add people. I can't just wait for them to come to me. I have to actively go and look for people to add. And if I add them, let's say I knew them and it's been 10 years, right? I'll just add them and I'll just send them a message. I'm like, hey, Joe, man, it's great to see you on Facebook. How you been? And I just start forming. That's why it's important to learn form. I just form them. How you been? Where you living? What do you do? It's great to catch up. I don't tell them anything about Beachbody in that first conversation. Because here's what I know. If they get on my Facebook, and I'm using Facebook as my platform, right? And I have, you know, you're going to want photo albums of before and after pictures in your photo albums, right? Let's say that you want to promote 21 Day Fix. Go find 20 or 30 transformation pics with the 21 Day Fix and create a photo album on your Facebook of it, right? Because what are they going to do? They're going to start clicking on your pictures, right? You see what I'm saying? And that might provoke the conversation. So that's the second way that I do that. The third way is this. You're going to want to do this. You're going to want to determine who it is you're trying to help, right? Who do you want to help? What is your target market? I told you, for me, it's fat people, you know, people who struggle with weight, food addiction, those, and that's who I was. So that's what I'm drawn to. And then local people. I want to deal with people face to face, or some people that I've had a connection with in the past. Okay. Maybe that's not you, and that's perfectly fine. You know, I think of Tara Carr. Tara Carr was a military spouse and a mom. So she just started joining mom pages and military spouse pages and military pages all over Facebook. And going in there and making friends and funneling them to her Facebook page. And then when she would promote, you know, when she would talk about, and listen, and promoting isn't just, hey, you know, Insanity Max is out, buy it. Okay. Like if you went to my page today, I just said, hey, who else is excited about this Insanity Max thing? Who's going to do it? Right. That's all I said. And all of a sudden there's all these comments. I'm doing it. I'm excited, blah, 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 blah. Well, I had like 6 people reach out to me. Hey, what's this Insanity Max? You know, even though I wasn't asking for prospects. You see what I'm saying? So identifying your target market. So I want you to think like if there were 2 groups of people that you really wanted to help, who would those 2 groups be? Okay. Is it moms? Is it, you know, is it other men? Is it people 50 and over? You know, is it an age group? Is it, you know, like, you know, I can just tell you, like for Tara Carr, it was military spouses and moms. And she just went and she started adding all these moms and military spouses to her Facebook. And now she's got a huge organization, makes 10 grand a week. But she targeted those 2 things, right? So once you identify your target markets, then what I would say is this. Go on Facebook and go find groups that are about that. A lot of people, if you want to, like, Like, let's say that you want to target local people. Go join the local garage sale page on Facebook. All kinds of local people in that thing, right? So that's my suggestion. The last thing that I want to advise you on with Facebook is this. You need to understand something called affinity, AFFINITY, okay? Affinity. Facebook has an algorithm on how they measure the statuses that get put in the newsfeed. So when you go log into Facebook, okay, and you know how you go to log into Facebook and you scroll down and you see everybody's status, right? And you see, right, you know, have you ever noticed that it's like the same people? And there's some people you just never see them, and you're like, oh, and then like you come across them, you're like, I don't ever see anything from them, but you go to their page and there's stuff there, right? Well, when you log in, the page that everyone sees is called Top News. And the only statuses put into that are the ones with the highest rating. Okay? And so they're rating you and your page based on this affinity scale. So let's just say the scale is 0 to 100, right? Most people starting out don't have a very high affinity rating because they don't understand affinity and they've never worked to create a higher score. It's kind of like a credit score. You want it to get higher, right? Well, if you don't know how to make it higher, it's not going to happen. So I'll just give you some pointers. Here's how they basically measure that score. They measure it by the amount of likes and comments on your page. So it's why it's important that you post about things that pique people's interest and you get them talking on your status, right? It's why you'll see a lot of the top coaches will say, you know, hey, click, you know, click like if you think blah, 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 blah. And they just get a ton of likes because every like they get makes their score go up. Okay? Every comment that happens makes your score go up, right? So having a status like, hey, I'm listening to some 80s music. What's your favorite 80s song? And get people talking about music. Get them talking about things they love. Or you know, if you're a mom and you have kids, get people talking about their kids. Hey, what's your favorite story of your kids, right? What's the funniest thing that ever happened with your kids? What's one thing you love about your kids, right? And because everyone loves to talk about their kids. So making a post like that is racking up your points, basically, right? And because you're not just talking about Beachbody all the time, you're actually talking about things that interest them. For every time that person comments on your stuff, your score goes up specifically for them so that when they open their news feed, your stuff's more likely to show up in their news feed. Right? So I can have a higher rating, you know, with Lori more than I do with Jordan. If I've had personal interaction with Lori and not with Jordan, then I'm more likely to show up in Lori's newsfeed than I am in Jordan's because Lori and I have commented on each other's stuff or we've privately messaged each other. But because Jordan and I haven't privately messaged each other and we've not liked or commented, they don't think we have a lot in common, so they're not going to put me on Jordan's page. That's why when you add people, you want to private message them because it establishes personal connection according to Facebook. Everybody understand that? So that's the first thing, personal connection. Likes and comments, the number of likes and comments. Another way that they rate it is if you attach a photo or a video or something that's interactive that they can physically see, it's going to have a higher rating. That specific post will have a higher rating. Okay? So I want you to understand the concept with Facebook is this. You want the number of people on your page to go up. So you got to actively seek to add people to it. Right? Now, you'll have better business results if you're actively seeking people who fit the demographic of what you're looking for to join your team and to start your workout programs and all that, right? You want to attract the customers that you're looking for and the potential coaches that you're looking for. So add people from that. So if you get the number of people to go up, then the number of likes and comments and all that and personal connections are going to go up and your stuff will start showing up. So it's why a lot of new coaches, they'll put a post up and they'll get crickets, no likes, no comments. And then they get frustrated and they go, I just can't do this. Nobody wants it. It's not that nobody wants it. It's that nobody sees it. Okay. They don't see it because your affinity score is low. So that's something that you got to work on to raise. All right. Once I understood that, I started posting about, for me, my suggestion to you is this, that you pick like 4 or 5 categories of things that you're going to post about on your Facebook, right? So I tend to post, the 4 F's, what I call the 4 F's, football, because I coach football and I like to talk about that. And people like to follow my coaching football for some reason, I post about family, like my family. People love to talk about their family. So I get people talking about their families along with mine. Or the most likes I ever get is if I post a picture of my little girl, like I'll get like 500 likes, and I'm like, that's amazing, I talk about faith, I'll because I'm a man of faith, and so I'll talk openly about that. I'll talk about both the good and the bad. I don't just talk about the good stuff. Like I'll put out that, for 30 years, I basically was like, screw God, and I wanted nothing to do with that. And then, 3 years ago, I had a breakthrough of my own and went through a lot of healing and forgiveness and just, discovered God, and I talk about that. And then I do inspirational stuff, motivational stuff, right? So I'll post motivational videos. I'll do inspirational quotes. So it's not just Beachbody and fitness 24/7, right? You want to show people all. So if you pick 5 categories, Beachbody should be one of the 5. Does that make sense? Right? So it's not just Beachbody, 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 Beachbody. People will get numb to that, because you got to understand, you're not trying to just attract the people who are already enthusiastic about Beachbody. You're trying to attract people from the outside in. So to attract them, you want to connect with them in ways that they prefer to. You want to get them talking about things that they're interested in. Because if they start feeling like they have something in common with you, whether it's kids or whether it's grandkids or whether it's, whatever it is, okay, then they're going to be more likely to follow your page and come back to your page. And they're going to be more likely to see your status. So when you do post something about Beachbody, they're going to be more likely to be a person that has interest. Everybody understand that? So listen, that's it for tonight. That's 50 minutes. And we covered 2 different topics. Hopefully, but if I were you guys, you need to think about your Facebook page as that's your storefront. Right? That's your storefront. And you want as many people walking by your store as possible, right? And so you want to get it on the right corner with more people. And you also want to fill it with great stuff that makes people come back. Okay, so maybe if you're a mom, maybe you give mommy tips. Okay, if you're someone that's trying to attract people for weight loss. See, to me, there's 2 different things. There's fitness and then there's weight loss. They're 2 different mentalities, right? Super fit people are about fitness. Weight loss people talk about weight loss. They talk about food addiction. So I'll talk about food addiction. Or I'll post stuff about food addiction, or I'll post stuff about weight loss, and I'll post stuff about the emotional battle with weight that takes place in people who are trying to lose weight and have tried for years, right? So whatever categories of people you're trying to attract, you want to talk about those things and bring something of value to them. So maybe you give, a daily weight loss tip. And the weight loss tip maybe has nothing to do with Beachbody, but they start trusting you on weight loss. And they might start asking you questions, and then you can recommend they start with a Beachbody program. Okay? Or maybe it's mommy tips, mommy tips. My wife is into beauty. She's into makeup and skincare and all that stuff. So and this was something I actually, she and I just recently sat down. I'm like, baby, listen, start talking about beauty stuff. There's a lot of women out there that want, you're so into it. Why don't you talk about it? That's something of value you could present to them. And what's amazing is now, ever since 3 months ago, she started talking about beauty tips, and now all of a sudden she's making Success Club. Right? But it was she's connecting with women on the beauty side and building friendships because of the beauty side, and because they start trusting her, they now will say yes to Beachbody. It's kind of a screwy mindset. Like, you don't have to hammer people over the head with Beachbody to get them to do Beachbody. It's connecting with them in other ways and then filtering them to trusting you, so that then when the opportunity to introduce Beachbody comes up, there's already trust. and more people will say yes. And they won't feel like it's something you're shoving down their throat because you've got a relationship outside of it. Hopefully you guys understand that. So with that said, it's the beginning of December, right? We talked about this last night on the Swarm call. So, you know, if I'm you guys though, and I'm dead serious about this, I mean, you know, the New Year's wave is coming, man. You know, we all know that. We'll get, I don't want to throw a number on without knowing, but it'll be over 1 million people, let's say, that start a Beachbody program in the new year, right? More than that, 10 million, right? Honestly, you know, we'll get 10 million. If there's 100 million people that start, 5% of them will start with Beachbody. 95% will start with something else, right? They'll start with the gym. They'll start with Jenny Craig. They'll start with walking and trying to eat lettuce every day of their life, and they'll fail miserably, you know. And so let's say we get 5 million people. Well, let's say that there's 200,000 coaches in the network, and let's say only 20% of us qualify. So that's 40,000 coaches that are going to share 5 million people. Does that make sense? Okay. You want to make sure that you're in line to qualify for those new customers that come in January and February. And you do that by being Emerald and Making Success Club in December, right? So, you know, but you've got the month of December. The reason we started in the middle of November is just because it kind of bridged the holidays and we get you done with this in the middle of December so that it doesn't run into Christmas. And then in January, we're going to start the first Monday of every month. So as long as you've finished December, you know, like in good standing, and you get to Emerald and you make Success Club, then you guys can do Ramp, which is another 30-day program that's like an Emerald to Diamond group, and we start talking more about the team building side. And so I'm looking forward to working with some of you in that. So, but we only have, I think next week, right? Next week we have a call, and that might be it. So, so any questions that you guys have, like literally in the next 10 to 12 days, because 10 to 12 days from now you guys are going to be done with this program, ask it. Ask it. And in fact, next week, what we'll do is it'll be a Q&A thing where each of you will get a chance to ask a question, right? And just pick my brain. And I want to give you the opportunity to do that. So it'll be a little bit more interactive, but do it on the page as well. Don't be afraid to throw it out there on the page. Between me and Liz and the other leaders, you'll get some guidance on that. So with that said, guys, I appreciate your time. I know you got other things going on tonight. Hopefully you guys were as excited about the Insanity Max launch as I was. That's another thing that you guys want to get used to is launches, product launches, okay? In the long run, those are big deals in our network. For someone like me, once you have a team and product launches are huge because it brings new people in and it's like an explosion. It's like a micro burst of explosion, when they launch something. So you want to get really good in preparing for that launch and getting, and that's something we'll teach you in Ramp is how to prepare for launches. All right. So with that said, I'll let you go. Peace out. Have a good night.